So I've fallen off my routine again. And honestly, it sucks. I'm quite sure you know that feeling when you're being super consistent, staying on track, hitting all the milestones that you have. And then suddenly something happens and boom, you're back to where you started, maybe even worse. I'm literally there right now. And I did what most people tell you to do when that happens. I'll listen to the common advice of take it slow, life is a marathon, just make small changes every single day, blah, blah, blah kind of mindset. But honestly, that made even things worse for me. Instead of making slow and steady progress, I felt like I was kind of stuck in a position where I just can't get out. And here's why. I don't think I'm wired for that slow and steady kind of stuff. Instead, I realized I need quick growth, especially in the beginning, to stay motivated. I need to get a quick win. And the whole life is a marathon mindset doesn't really work for me. Maybe it's because of my ADHD or because I have this all or nothing attitude. But if I don't see results fast, I'll lose interest. I need to kind of focus on sprints where I go hard, get results, and then switch to periods of maintenance or rest. And that's how I've seen real growth before. Even when it comes to growing my YouTube channel or getting in shape, I always did sprints and then rests. And that's how I'm going to do it again. So literally, I'm just going to that belief that slow and steady wins the race. And instead, I'm going all in, starting right now. And here's my plan. I'm going to go hard for the next 6 months, document everything, and show you exactly how I'm changing my life. And I know this method works because I've done it before multiple times. When when I started growing my YouTube channel, everyone said, start slowly, learn things, and then experiment things, blah, blah, blah. Just post one video every 2 weeks. Something like that. But I didn't listen, okay? I was posting 2 to 3 times per week and I was learning as I go along, and I went all into YouTube. YouTube became my whole focus during that period of time, and we went from 0 to 100k subscribers in just 3 months. But now, a quick disclaimer, this approach isn't for everyone, okay? Especially if your mental health isn't in a good place, don't push yourself too hard, because I personally have experience of getting diagnosed with major depression, and during those times, the last thing that you want to do is pushing yourself even harder. You need to rest and recover. Okay, first let's get that clear. But if your mental health is stable right now, and if you're ready to make a change and you got the energy to go all in, this is how I'm doing it and how you can do it too. Alright, let's get the one thing straight. If you don't know why you want to change in the first place, nothing else matters. You're going to quit the second things get hard. Because think about it, how many times have you set a goal, started strong, and then dropped it a few weeks later? I've done it so many times. I know it. And I've realized that the reason why most people fail is because we focus on what we want to change, like getting in shape, making more money, being more consistent at whatever you fancy. But we never stop to ask ourselves why that goal is important to us. If we don't have a clear burning reason to change, we're going to fall off. Here's an important lesson I learned. Change only happens when the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of changing. If staying stuck feels more comfortable to you than putting an effort to change, you never will change. But when that comfort becomes unbearable, that's when you take an action. For me, realizing this was huge, okay? Because I've been telling myself for months that I'm going to be consistent with working out and posting online, like social media, but I kept falling off. And the reason is because I wasn't being clear enough with myself why I want to change. I was too focused on what, I want to get in shape, I want to be consistent on social media, I want to make money, etc., etc. But I wasn't connecting it to a deeper why. My why is because I don't want to feel lazy, undisciplined, or I don't want to be someone else that doesn't keep the promises that they make themselves. I want to feel confident from, the confidence coming from being disciplined. And I want to have the satisfaction knowing that I'm giving my all, and all the freedom comes with having a sense of control of every action that I do. And this is exactly what I also want you to do. Sit down and really think about what pain you're running away from and what desire you're chasing. What's your why? Write it down and put it somewhere you will see it every day, because when the process of change starts to feel hard, trust me, it will. You're going to need that reminder of why you are wanting to change and why you're doing this. This is what's going to keep us going when our motivation fades. And if you want to take action right away, I've got a free worksheet link below. You can use it to write down why you want this change so that you will have a clear understanding. Another life-changing lesson that I learned is you can't improve what you don't measure. Like if you want to make any serious change in our lives, whether it's health, finances, or our personal development, then tracking is going to be non-negotiable. Because if we're not measuring our progress, we're just guessing. And guessing is not going to get us anywhere. Because I know this firsthand, okay? Every time like I lost momentum, it's whenever I stopped tracking. I stopped holding myself accountable. For a very long time, I was really top on my nutrition. Like I was tracking every single thing that I ate, and I was hitting my macros quite consistently. But then I got a little comfortable. I sort of like stopped tracking what I eat, and I was telling myself, I got this, I know what I'm doing, but I didn't. Day by day, my diet kind of slipped, but I wasn't measuring anything, so I didn't even notice that change. And I told myself that I was still eating healthy, but I was just really slipping into my old bad habits again. And the more I ignored it, the more progress I lost. And this whole tracking thing isn't just like about, keeping score and seeing everything and being obsessed with numbers or anything. It's about basically being honest with yourself. Because when you track, you can't lie to yourself, okay? You can see whether you've done the thing or not. And that's why it's so important for us. That's why I included a section in the free worksheet that I have in the description below, a tracking, where you can, tick the check boxes for your habits, whether it's your workout, sleep, nutrition, or personal growth. Whatever matters to you, you need to keep track of it. So if you're serious about changing your life, there are 4 non-negotiable actions you need to commit to, and I want you to track these 4 activities every single day, because these 4 activities are not maybe or when you feel like it kind of things, but these are non-negotiables. Get you out of the rut and drive real progress. And if you're not doing them, don't be surprised if nothing changes. Because in the past, I've tried kind of like doing other things, taking shortcuts, skipping some of them. But trust me, these 4 are the foundation. And without them, nothing really sticks. First, we have the quality input. You need to be learning from reliable sources every day. Whether it's books, podcasts, or online courses, there's so many good information available out there, but we need to be intentional about it. Because not every content is created equal. Some of it's garbage, for sure. But there is gold if we know where to look. And I want to talk about books for a second, because books are probably one of the best price to value resource you will ever find. Like people pour decades of their life experiences into a book, and you can get it like for $10 to $20, which is crazy value. If you think I can't afford the books, you have 2 options. First, either learn a high income skill so you can afford them, or 2, just get a library card. There's no excuse. So every day, you need to be feeding your brain with quality input. It's what bridges the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Because if we're not learning, we're not growing. And I definitely noticed this in myself. Like whenever I felt stuck or uninspired, I, didn't know what I want to say. It's usually because I've been filling my brain with irrelevant, low quality content. Like scrolling through TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels, and feeding my brain with those irrelevant information and quick dopamine hits. Usually when I do this, like they clutter my mind, and I oftentimes feel overwhelmed and unmotivated and completely disconnected from any sense of clarity or vision that I have. But when I'm feeding my brain with quality input, like reading books, listening to podcasts, taking online courses from people I admire, literally everything changes. And the clarity comes back, and I can feel focused, and I get my vision back, and I know what direction I'm going in. And that's what quality input does. It gives you the tools and the ideas to move forward. So if you're currently feeling lost, the first thing you need to fix is what you're consuming, because we are what we consume. Now here's the part that most of us get wrong. We all love learning, right? We spend hours and hours reading books, watching YouTube videos, maybe taking online courses, but learning without applying is literally useless. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done this in the past so many times. Like there were many times when I would just consume nonstop. I would read book after book, watch countless videos, and I would think to myself, oh my God, I'm learning so much. I'm making a real progress. But here's the reality. I wasn't doing anything with that information. And if you're just learning for the sake of learning without actually using it or sharing it, then what's the point? You're just wasting time, right? We're not gaining real value until we put that knowledge into action. And I get this question a lot, like, Rudy, I don't know how to use that information or how to share that information. But it's not that hard as you think. Okay, I'm a YouTuber, so I always say like create YouTube videos, but I'm biased, and you don't need to start a YouTube channel or build a website overnight. It can be simple as tweeting something valuable every single day. Just like one tweet per day, one idea that you learn in your own words, sharing it with the world. It's how you start turning information into action. And I'm going to hold myself accountable there. I'm promising you right now that I'll be tweeting something valuable every single day. It's quite simple, but it's really important because when we share what we learned, we're not just repeating what we learned, but when we turn it into our own words, we process it in our brain. And that's where true learning happens, actually. You don't need to overthink this, okay? It's not about creating the biggest Twitter account or becoming a Twitter guy or girl, whatever, but it's about being consistent on using the information that you learned. Because the more you output, the more you grow. So let's start small. It can be Twitter, it can be Instagram, or it can be a short blog post, whatever works for you. But in my opinion, Twitter has the lowest barrier of entry. Now, let's talk about the one thing that everyone loves to ignore, and that is recovery. And I get it, okay? We live in a hustle culture where we are told to grind like 24/7, push harder, keep going. But if you're not prioritizing recovery, you're just going to burn out and everything else will suffer. So it's not productive at all to not recover. And I used to think like if I can push harder a little bit, then I can ignore my recovery. But recovery isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And especially if you start to learn a lot, it will need the time to process all the information we learned, and it needs rest to reset. So to track my recovery, I personally use Whoop. Oops, I'm trying to get, and I'm not sponsored. I just love it. I love it so much that I also gift it to my mom, and I'm also going to gift it to my brother. Because Whoop is really nice at giving you a recovery data, sleep and exercise data. And it also explains really well why that happened. For example, I love drinking alcohol, okay? Whether it's like drinking socially or whether it's like drinking alone, I love the taste of it. I love alcohol. But once I started Whoop, every single day you journal your actions. And the days I drink even just like a glass of alcohol, the next day my recovery was really bad. So after seeing that every single time, and Whoop also tells you which activities kind of like affects your recovery overall. And as you can see, alcohol affects my recovery quite bad. So after seeing that, I decided to limit really my alcohol intake because I used to drink like 5 to 6 times per week, especially with my friends. But now I'm limiting that to 1, maximum twice per week. Whoop is really good because you can see the direct impact it has on your performance and overall recovery. Like, we know alcohol is not good. I mean, I knew it, but I still didn't make a change. And I tried other tools like Apple Watch and Oura Ring, but for me, Whoop is the most accurate way of seeing data. And it also helps you really understand that just sleeping more is not enough, but how you can get a better sleep by the data that you get from Whoop, basically. Because we all know that we shouldn't be looking into screen before we go to bed, or we shouldn't drink alcohol. But when we don't see the actual data from our recovery, like from our personal recovery, I think we don't make a change. So when you see that difference clearly every single day with Whoop, then that's when you make a real change, in my opinion. And I'm not sponsored. I just love it, okay? And whether you use Whoop or other like fitness trackers, whatever that is, just pay closer attention to your habits and make recovery a priority. And finally, the last non-negotiable thing is going to be your keystone habit. This is the habit that basically ties everything together. And in my opinion, for 99% of people, it's going to be working out. Because like from my personal experience, when I'm working out consistently, everything in my life literally falls into place. It's kind of like a domino effect. My energy is higher, my discipline improves, and my mental clarity is also sharpens. It's not just about getting like stronger or looking better, being more fit, but it's about proving yourself that you can keep the promises you make to yourself. And every single time I hit the gym, I kind of like reinforce the idea that I can show up for myself even when I don't feel like it, because 99% of the time I don't feel like it. And whenever I stop working out, I really feel it like immediately. My energy drops. I kind of like feel lazy in anything in my life, and my recovery also drops, and my sleep performance also drops too. The benefits of working out is not just physical, but it's also mental. And honestly, I'm actually working out consistently to get those mental benefits. Like, it's the habit that pushes all the others forward. And most of us are not moving enough. Like, we spend our days sitting, scrolling, and being inactive. Like, most of us are sedentary, but our bodies are made to move. So if you're not already working out consistently, you need to work out consistently. me, okay? You don't need the perfect program or a perfect gym just to start. You can be walking, lifting weights, do body weight exercises, yoga, golf, whatever gets you moving. My keystone habit is working out, and that is the backbone of everything. When I'm consistent with working out, I'm confident, disciplined, and more focused. Literally, that spills everything else I do. So if you're just going to commit one habit that is going to be your keystone habit, pick working out. None of this means anything if you don't act on it, right? The only thing standing between where you are now and where you want to be in 6 months is what you do today. So I basically created a free PDF worksheet below where you can track your progress, write down your goals, write down why you're doing this, and also hold yourself accountable. And it's really free, okay? I'm not going to spam you or anything. And especially if you're not tracking it, you're not improving it. But here's the thing. This is kind of like my idea where all the videos that I watched on YouTube are like telling how you can change, but they never keep you accountable. So I thought, what if I shared my journey of changing every single week to keep you also accountable and also to keep myself accountable? So I decided to send an email every single week on Friday, giving updates on what I'm learning, what I'm doing, how I'm moving forward, and what are the things that I learned every single day on Friday, like for free on your email. And if there's enough request, I might actually create a vlog series where I document the journey in form of video. And I thought about like naming it Getting My Life Together series, but it's not really unique and it's not really creative. So if you have any other name suggestions, let me know. I know it's kind of crazy, but 2024 is literally about to end, and how we finish this year is going to set the tone for the next year. And I really don't want to roll into 2025 with same old habits, same excuses, and same mindset. So we're starting now, and if you're also ready to change, stop this video, write down your reason, and join me. I'm ready. Are you?